Welcome to Let's Talk Luxury, the Mazars podcast series about how and why luxury brands are undergoing a business model makeover. In each episode, luxury experts discuss what's happening in the sector, from authenticity to circularity, new customer cohorts to retail experiences worth posting about. The luxury business model is changing, and in this series we'll explore how to stay in vogue. So, let's talk luxury. Hello everyone, today we welcome Lina Bustillo to the show. Lina is a Colombian entrepreneur and founder of Aureum Coaching, a Latin American luxury specialist dedicated to diversifying the continent's portfolio of products and services with the mission to increase social integration and economic dynamism. It's great to have you on the podcast, Lina.
Hello, thanks for having me today.
So while some listeners may know what's going on in major luxury markets such as the US or China, they could be less familiar with the situation in Latin America. Could you start by bringing us up to speed and maybe providing an overview of the Latin American luxury market?
Sure. Shortly before the pandemic struck, Euromonitor forecasted that Latin America would be one of the fastest growing luxury markets in the world, surging 9.1% from 2019 to 2020, with Mexico and Brazil leading the way in retail. It has, as you can imagine, been majorly affected by the pandemic, but there's still a cause for optimism. Right now, the eyes are on the European Union and Mercosur agreement that will bring interesting possibilities for the luxury brands to grow in double digits in Latin America. Additionally, as long as travel restrictions continue, Latin Americans will travel locally, therefore spending locally. That will boost online sales, reduce in-store purchases, and hopefully help Latin Americans discover local brands. In terms of local brands, it's important to note that there are no specific studies or specialized reports on Latin American luxury brands currently. This is my major interest, to be honest, as we tend to focus on European brands in other territories. But what about the upcoming takeover of new brands with different origins, different values and perspectives on what luxury is?
So if we can talk about that for a moment, you specialize in luxury goods and services of Latin American origin. What can you tell us about the continent? How does it differ from the rest of the world? And what influences customers there?
Looking at the Latin American consumer behavior and Latin American product offer, there are two aspects definitely worth sharing. When studying the Latin American idiosyncrasy, we see several influences that, in the passing of time, have shaped us to what we are today. Influences from pre-Columbian times, the European colonies, independence, and others. This leads me to my first point, which is the importance of empathy. Personally, I consider it to be a foundation of the Latin American luxury. Our Latin American idiosyncrasy ranks customer service very highly based on the charisma and the warmth of the experience. This quality may differ from a European perspective on luxury service. However, in this customer segment, it leads us to customer fidelity and at advocacy level. Those who are looking for a connection with their roots, authenticity, and empathy through products and services will appreciate what Latin American luxury has to offer. A second aspect has to be artisanship. Artisanship in Latin America means connecting to our root culture, to creative and an economic development. We have a luxury of having a living relationship with our ancestors. We call them the elder brothers and sisters, learning about a craft through this relationship. One realizes it's not only about technique, it's about the woven history within. These stories carry deep teachings about our connection with nature, sustainability, and mindfulness. I see it as encrypted wisdom messages and blessings that take the concept of richness to another level, much more valuable than a repeated monogram. I call it holistic luxury.
In a recent article, you mentioned the role of luxury in preserving cultural heritage. Could you please explain a bit more the role of luxury in keeping Latin American culture vibrant and keeping it alive?
I believe that if luxury's goal is to be authentic, what is more beautiful and genuine than exploring our origins? The more committed we are to our DNA as brands, the more exclusive and unique our offer will be. When we commit with our origins as brands, we begin to explore our own roots and prove our ability to innovate and contribute to our society. Personally, I believe that the main skill as a creative mind in the luxury universe is to create and develop cultural heritage with a luxury perspective based on excellence and origins. This way, we're not only creating an interesting offer, but we're also generating jobs, social inclusion for our artisans, acknowledging and preserving the wisdom of our ancestors.
If we can now switch gears and focus on sustainability. Across luxury, we see brands investing heavily in sustainability and implementing more circular practices. In a recent Mazars study, we found brands are looking at longer product life cycles and late life cycle services. For example, repairing, reselling, as well as upcycling and recycling. How are Latin American luxury brands and consumers approaching sustainability?
Well, from a brand's perspective, we can start by education. The angle that universities are taking involving design careers with a big focus on finding solutions for the actual context, not only about becoming the next big designer, but integrating our local communities into the conversation. This perspective has the aim of awakening a new generation of designers and other creative careers so that they listen and learn from our cultural heritage. Sometimes the answers are in the past, not in the future. By this, I refer to the understanding that sustainable practices have been present in the cultural wisdom even before we tagged it as sustainability. Another aspect that promotes sustainable luxury for local brands are awards on sustainable luxury, specifically acknowledging the good practices within the luxury segment. The Sustainable Luxury Award in Latin America is an exclusive socio-cultural distinction organized by the Center of Studies for Sustainable Luxury in Argentina.
And before we wrap up today, could you tell me what makes you optimistic for the future of luxury in Latin America?
Well, I believe in change, I have to say. The context which we are living right now has made it clear that the change we need comes with new solutions led by consciousness. And there's no secret that luxury has an aspirational aspect. However, in that change, I'm optimistic about the fact that luxury shouldn't be aspirational, but inspirational. Latin American luxury has that touch within. Those who evolve into a more conscious lifestyle will see and appreciate what Latin America has to offer as luxury.
Thank you, Lina, for your time today and giving us a glimpse of how luxury is being made over in Latin America.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Let's Talk Luxury. To find out more about changes in the luxury sector, search Mazars Making Over the Luxury Business Model or follow the link in the show notes. And to keep up with this series, subscribe on your favorite podcast app or go to mazars.com.